Who are you and who you are not? This one goes out to my good friend Carl Lenore, who is battling with sepsis in his spine right now. Who are you and who are you not? This is a very important question, and most of us really actually don't have an answer for it. You know, the nice thing about writing an article is that I can always go back and edit it. That's also why I never publish articles, is because I write them and then I continually edit them and edit them and edit them and edit them, and they're never good enough. The problem with doing videos is I do this video and then I decide it's not good enough and I can't go back and edit it, which is why I have like well over 100 videos just sitting unlisted on my channel that I will probably never share because they're just not good enough. So I'm starting this off with, who am I? And who am I? Well, I'm someone who nothing I do is ever good enough. Interesting. So that being said, this video won't be good enough. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Some of you already know this. Some of you don't know this. I was in an accident in 2013. And prior to that accident, I was probably in the peak of my life. I weighed about 155 pounds. I could back squat 405, and I was running like a low 520 something mile. I think I clocked in at like 523, and most of the time when I ran a mile, I would clock in 520 something, right? I was fit, I was healthy, I was happy, everything was good, right? And then I got hit by a drunk driver, and well, all of that disappeared. Okay. So who are you if you're not who you used to be? Carl shared a reel the other day, and he was talking about how he's someone that's always valued strength. And I would say that that's true of myself. Now I can't walk, right? So who am I? The thing I value is being strong and independent and physically capable, and suddenly that's gone. You are not your back squat. You're not your six-pack abs either. In fact, I hate to tell you this, but actually, the truth is no one really cares. Outside of a very small scope of people, no one really cares. You look at these influencers. Do you like narcissists? No one likes narcissists, and yet for some odd reason we follow these social media influencers. Here's a tour of my $200,000 home gym. Here's a tour of my home gym with all my expensive gadgets that you can't afford. What I eat in a day, and I'm gonna go work out with my shirt off, and you're supposed to admire my abs or something, even though I'm using GLP-1s and thermogenics and anabolics, etc. And yes, we should all be following these people, but just think about how narcissistic that is. Do you actually think anyone cares what you eat in a day? I mean, I've done those types of videos because they're popular for some odd reason, but then I stop and think to myself, like, why does anyone care what I eat? I don't care what you eat. I don't care what anyone else eats. I don't watch those videos. And so it's a weird thing, right? You're not any of those things, though. Like, that's not your identity. Those things can be taken from you in the blink of an eye. I went into the hospital in 2017, and I weighed 157 pounds when I went into the hospital. I had visible six-pack abs. Ooh. And I left the hospital on May 3rd, 2017, and I weighed 236 pounds. I could barely even walk. I had been in a bed for all that time. I was unable to get out of a hospital bed. I just got fat and lost muscle, and I know people tell me it's impossible to lose muscle and gain fat at the same time, but I sure as hell did. I was unable to walk. I remember my first workout, whenever I started trying to work out again, I wanted to do air squats just to get started. I couldn't even do a set of 10 air squats. I had to hold on to the pole in my garage to do it. And I was so unbelievably sore afterwards. It was incredible. You would have thought someone took knives and just slashed my legs up. It hurt so bad. The atrophy was just incredible. Who are you if you're not who you used to be? Well, who you are not, you're not your six-pack abs. You're not your back squat. You're not your leg press. You're not your bench press. You're not any of those things. I used to play piano. I used to play guitar. I can't do those things anymore. Were those my identity? Is that who I am? I'm a person who plays guitar. I'm a guitarist or a pianist. No. I'm a guy who lifts weights. No. I'm a weightlifter. No, all those things can be taken from you. Who are you when everything else is stripped away? That's who you actually are. And like a lot of men deal with this when it comes to their careers. I'm a Navy SEAL, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a whatever it is you are. Maybe you're something really important. And then it's taken from you. That's your identity. Who are you now? Well, you're actually who you've always been. You just didn't know. Who you are is who you are whenever everything else is stripped away. So often we mistake ourselves, right? We make this mistake of thinking my identity is I don't care what you are. You're an engineer. You're a fighter pilot. You're an astronaut. And when that's taken away, we don't know who we are anymore. Now, you know exactly who you are. You just haven't figured it out yet. Who you are is who you are when everything else is stripped away. So I'm going to tell you a little story about my dad. My dad was diagnosed with lymphoma, and then it metastasized, and he had head and neck cancer, and metastasized beyond that, and he had lung cancer, and then it metastasized beyond that, and he had throat cancer, and then it metastasized, and he had brain cancer. So it just kept spreading, despite the fact that he was on chemo and all that good stuff. My dad is someone who never complained. Not once did he ever whine or cry or, why me, or this shouldn't be happening to me or anything. If my dad had a complaint or a lament, and I would put those in air quotes, the only thing he ever expressed was that he was really worried and concerned about what would happen to my mother after he died. Never, not once did I hear the man say, I don't want to die, I'm not ready to die, I'm nothing like that. Nope, the only thing he ever expressed was that he was worried about what would happen to my mom. That's who you really are. So some of you have been following me. You know that I've been battling MRSA we're going on 15 months now. And I'm not afraid. The doctors tell me that this could go south real fast. If it gets into my brain, I'll be dead very fast. And I'm like, okay. And the only thing I'm worried about is what will happen to Julie. Who will take care of Julie whenever I'm gone? I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of not being able to squat. I'm not afraid of losing my six-pack abs or something. I'm afraid of what will happen to Julie. Who will take care of Julie when I'm gone? Who are you, right? That's for you to figure out. I can't tell you who you are, but I can tell you who you aren't. You aren't any of those superficial things. You're not your bank account. No one cares how much money you have. I know, it's weird, right? So we look at these people and it's like, oh, Alex Hormozi makes $100 million a year. He makes more money than Tim Cook. Yet somehow he has never been in Forbes or anything like that, or doesn't make any of these lists. But besides that, he tells you that he makes this much money. He must make that much money then. That's important, right? Is it? If Alex Hormozi died, no one will be talking about him in a couple years. If I die, no one's going to talk about me in a couple years. Hell, probably a couple weeks. Remember that Chad guy? Nope. No one remembers him. Who you aren't is very important. You're not your job. That's just a title. It's just something that you do. You know, your strength. Strength is important. Don't get me wrong. I think it's very important that we are physically strong because that allows us to help other people. But when you lose that, who are you? At the end of the day, that question can only be answered by you, but you should figure that out before it happens. Who am I if I wasn't, whatever, an engineer? Who am I if I wasn't a guitarist? Who am I if I wasn't a guy that squats 500 pounds and, deadlifts 600 pounds? And who am I if I wasn't the world's strongest man? It's an important thing for you to figure out, because these things are all temporary. Every single one of them. I don't care, Eddie Hall, half the rubber joints, and, Mitch Hooper, whatever. It's temporary, man. It's temporary. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. It's temporary. Someone better will come along. Your name will be forgotten. Someday someone's going to outrun Usain Bolt. Someday someone's going to win more medals than Michael Phelps. It's just the reality of things. Everything in this life is temporary. Even your relationships. Even if Julie and I stay, together till death do us part, right? Till death do us part, well, that means one of us is going to die. So at some point, this is going to end. Yeah. Everything is temporary. It doesn't seem that way sometimes. Anyways, like I said, this won't be good enough. I have a million ideas that I probably skipped over, and after I finish this, I'll come back to it and say, oh shit, I should have said this and this and this and this. And that's who I am, right? I'm the guy who never finishes anything because nothing I do is ever good enough. I always think it can be better. It's like I was talking to my doctor the other day. I have this problem. I'm eternally optimistic that things will get better. And that applies to everything. It doesn't matter what's going on. I always think that things will get better. Whatever I'm going through is temporary. Things will get better. Who are you? Well, I can't tell you, but I just told you how to figure it out. Strip away everything else. What do you have left at the end? That's who you really are.